Oh, this is a fun question.
Fun question time.
What's your favorite chocolate bar?
Wonder Bar.
Really?
Wow, so much judgment.
I mean, of all the chocolate bars, you answered that really fast. Have you been thinking about that for a while?
No, because it's my favorite chocolate bar.
If you're at Shoppers
Why
Drug
would you
Mart,
think you're going to hesitate on your favorite whatever?
because
How can you? You're like such a Disney fan.
yeah.
And
What
then if I was to ask you, and you know that your favorite place in the world is Disney,
Yeah.
and I was just like, "What's your favorite place in the world?" And you hesitated. Can you really say that it's your favorite place?
Fair, but
Wonder Bar.
okay.
Okay.
Tell me about it. Why?
What?
Is it the peanut butter?
It's the nougat.
Okay.
It's the nougat.
Okay.
I don't know. I just, you know what? It has the consistency enough. You can chew into the chocolate bar. It just tastes really, really good. Except you're not crunching into anything too dense. It's not a very dense chocolate bar, and it's not like a crispy crunch where you feel like you're gonna break your teeth.
Oh yeah. No.
But as soon as your teeth sink into the chocolate bar,
Yeah.
it's just this nice little crunch of peanut goodness mixed with the nougat and the caramel. And then I always hear this German guy in the back. It's Wonder Bar.
Okay.
Right. Wonder Bar.
Okay.
Shout out to Wonder Bar.
All right. Not sponsored.
What about yours?
Oh. Snickers.
Too much hesitation.
Well, because it would have been M&M's, but then I would.
M&M's.
Yeah.
I love an M&M chocolate bar. So no one ever what is it? There's no such thing as M&M chocolate bars, are?
Well, there's M&M's in milk chocolate, but I don't like that. Like if I go to Shoppers, I want mini M&M's. I like that I don't get my hands all dirty because I just shovel them.
Nobody can see this. Maybe when we cut the videos in there, I'm nodding to that. I'm acknowledging what you just mentioned.
Okay, but you take the tube of mini M&M's and you're like, I'm not going to.
Tuba M&M's. Mini M&M's.
If you know, it's just they're just really good.
I don't know if people would know. If you know, you know. Somebody who was listening was like, I don't really know.
If you like mini M&M's, you do.
Jeez. I feel like mini M&M's is if I was to open a tube of mini M&M's and I saw one that was like mini M&M's super tiny. Yeah. 8 of them make up one M&M.
They're so good though.
It's just more trouble than it's worth.
No.
It's why would I pick up 8 small ones to get the same satisfaction and fulfillment of one M&M?
When we were in Florida in 2005, my family took all of the kids and significant others. And my boyfriend and I at the time went to M&M World, and I'd never been to an M&M World. I bought 2 pounds of M&Ms.
Okay.
And it was so many M&Ms. And I would set the bag next to the bed, and I would wake up in the morning.
I'm just what is it going on? So I thought that you were saying, you know what, the conversation, what I was expecting you to say about going to M&M World, it's I got a bag of 2 pounds of M&Ms. I thought this was going to be and then I decided to get another bag of mini M&Ms.
No, I just am remembering, I think I went 6 years without eating M&Ms because I'd eaten so many of them in that trip to Florida.
Right.
But I'm back on the M&M train, and that's why I was like, oh, I shouldn't tell the M&M story because I should say Snickers, because Snickers is a safe, good chocolate bar to love.
It's Betty White.
Yeah, you say that, but
R.I.P. Betty White. You've never seen these commercials?
No, I don't
it's
watch.
Somebody
I don't
would
watch
go
a lot
over
of
there.
TV.
Okay.
You watch a lot of TV?
You watch a lot of TV?
Yeah.
Well, no. You know, it's so crazy now with all these streaming things now, and I don't really have much time to watch TV anyway.
Same.
Maybe only during the Super Bowl because I love to watch the commercials. Obviously, many people do. It's just the commercials that you don't see just by watching regular cable TV.
Right.
You know,
Is that what those commercials were on?
yeah, it'd be super cool. There we got somebody going over to play flag football, and then be hungry or their stomach was growling. Somebody was like, "Oh, have a Snickers," and the next thing you know, they took about. I'm butchering it. I don't even remember. You know what? I don't even remember what the commercial's about. All I know is that Betty White was in the commercial. Shows you how much TV I watch and how much I remember. You know who I do remember? Betty White.
R.I.P. Betty White.
R.I.P. Betty White. Almost made it to 100.
Let's get back in the zone.
You could read that better because I can't see it.
Okay. Mike, if you could tell your past self from November of last year, 2022, one thing, what would that be?
Oh, wow. If I could tell my past self something from November 2022, what would that thing be? I don't know. There's so many things.
Pick one.
You know what? If I could go back in time and tell, you know, Mike from last week or Mike from last year or Mike from last November, if I was to take a look at my business, I should always tell myself, don't make any excuses for yourself. Don't make any excuses for yourself. Don't set any limitations for yourself. Dream big, execute, be consistent. That is something I need to remind myself of every single day. But at the same time, have more fun doing it. This is like this roller coaster of real estate. It's the up and down. Deals come together, deals don't come together. You work with, you know, very, very difficult situations and trying to navigate through different situations. A lot of it can really weigh you down and take a lot of your energy. But I really, really love this industry and I really love what I do. And I really love helping people out. And I will continue to share my energy and my time to get people closer to their dreams of buying, selling, and investing and doing whatever they want to do because I love this industry so much. And the reality is, I need to sometimes I get in my own way. I live in my head. I get in my own way, and that's a very very common thing for business owners, people in business for self. Is that once you have a war waging in your head of self doubt for whatever reason, that will replace and suck away all the energy that you could be repurposing it for to get more positive experiences, help new clients, lead gen for new clients, and those type of things as well. So I really have to live in my brain about reminding myself 2 minutes. If there's something that is, upsetting, I can be upset about it for 2 minutes. And I've told friends this earlier on today's Zoom call that I had with my friends in terms of advice. I said, he goes, "Oh, let me know in 25 minutes. I should be better." I was like, "You get 2 minutes.
Mm.
2 minutes to be upset and keep it moving." I was like, because you could tie yourself up mentally in negative situations. And then what happens if in the following 18 minutes you would have been able to talk to somebody new or accept a phone call in a better headspace that could have allowed yourself to have, more business in the future. So 2 minutes, but I mean, being consistent, never setting up excuses for myself, dreaming big and making sure, I get after it. That's what I would have told myself in November last year. That's what I should have reminded myself of last week. And going forward, that's something that I have to treat as a mantra to tell myself every single day going
Mm.
forward.
Amazing.
What about you?
Oh, well, I feel like my situation is a little bit different because, well, it's different than it was because I was on a team for 7 years
Mm.
and decided this spring of 2023 that I was going to venture out onto my own. So I think if I could tell myself one thing from last November, it would be your mindset is everything. And I think that kind of ties into what you've said. But it's true that if you have, and we're because we're reading the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book right now, I think we're doing a book club with some agents here at our office. I think you're reminded that regardless of where you are in your career, in your life, the only thing you are in control of is your mindset. And there are so many external factors that you have no control over. So if you want something and you can go get it, you have to set a plan in place. And I didn't set a plan in place to go out on my own. But I think once I changed my mindset, because there were all these new agents during COVID, and they would come into the office and say, "How would you talk to a seller about this?" Because I was a buyer's agent. I only worked with buyers. And I loved my buyers. Like there was no, but people would ask me advice. I'd give them advice and they say, "Well, why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you working with sellers?" And I'd
Mm-hmm.
say, like, "Oh,
Right.
I can't do that. I don't do that. I don't like to do that."
Right.
And they'd say, "Oh," and then I would drive away in my car and be like, "Why don't I do that? I'm giving these people advice." And I think once I gave myself permission to acknowledge that I could do it, everything changed.
Right.
And so I would say to myself, look at it from a different way, and you're gonna just like kick the door open with potential if you stop saying I don't do that or I can't do that.
Hmm. Limiting beliefs.
Yeah, limiting beliefs, and you don't have to say I do that, or you can say I will. I will put the plan in place to be able to do that.
Right.
So, and I'm doing it right now.
You are.
I have listings. I've accepted offers on listings.
Yeah.
I closed the listing. We
Look at you
co-listed.
now.
Yeah, look at us now.
Look at you now.
Look at me now. Okay, one last fun one.
Would you rather go skydiving or would you rather go scuba diving?
Skydiving all day.
Really?
All day.
Why is that?
Because I feel like if I was gonna die, because that's
Save the best for last.
right. If I was gonna die, I'd want to die by like hitting the ground. I don't think I'd want to die like drowning, because then you'd know. I mean, you'd know either way. But okay, let me change my answer. I feel like it would be beautiful to see the clouds, and like, no, I just would not want to die if I had to die. I feel like the rush you'd get from being able to say I went skydiving, because you've got like you're jumping tandem. I wouldn't jump alone.
Right.
And I think it would be really neat. I've always wanted to go skydiving.
Oh, good for you.
I'm guessing you're scuba diving?
You know what? It's so funny because I haven't gone scuba diving before. But when I was in high school, we had something called off-campus gym,
Okay, we called it outdoor pursuits.
right? Yeah, I heard you guys called it outdoor pursuits. You guys call a lot of things different things out here. You also call it supper versus dinner,
Yeah.
which is the most bogus thing I think I've ever heard in my life. Because I know where, yes, you're looking at me all judgy.
Yeah.
Listen, say breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
You want me to say
Yeah.
breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
Yeah.
Breakfast, lunch, and supper.
What?
it's
It sounds no.
when are you ever having a conversation where you're like, oh, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner?
The whole world says breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
No, supper.
No.
Dinner is lunch because it's dîner.
Oh.
Yeah. Breakfast, lunch, and supper.
Breakfast,
What do you want for
lunch, and
supper?
dinner.
Hoity,
100%.
hoity big city over here.
No, if I was going to be in New York at Manhattan's Steakhouse downtown or something, or somewhere, this is a really, you know what? What are you going to have for supper? I would expect the server to look at me sideways and be like, "You mean dinner, sir?"
Then you're going to a really hoity-toity restaurant that I probably don't want to be at anyway.
Man, but I can imagine how good the food is for dinner. Anyways,
What was the question? Oh, scuba diving, outdoor
scuba
pursuits.
diving, outdoor pursuits. Okay,
Right.
okay. So, off-campus gym. We went to at the time that we went to this place called Lindsay Park, which is indoor aquatic center. They used to have big diving boards and everything, Olympic diving boards and whatnot, giant lap pools or whatnot. So, the reason why I'm getting into this is that we had an opportunity to learn scuba in the giant pools.
With the air tanks?
Yes, instructors and everything. Super, super deep.
Mm.
We were able to go inside there and not have to be, out in the water and ocean.
Tell me
or
you're from a
whatever.
big city without telling me you're from a big
Right,
city.
scuba diving in a giant pool.
In
okay,
high
so
school.
right in high school. So, it was a super cool, euphoric experience to be in the water, not hear anything because obviously you've been in the water before. Obviously you hear the water around you. It's
What
completely
does it sound
different,
like?
right? I'm not going to make the sound. I'm not even going to make a sound. I gave it a
You
thought.
you
I
thought
gave it.
about
You looked at me. It's like I thought about it for
You
a
did think
second,
about
but
it.
no,
Okay.
it's recording me. I'd butcher it. But yeah, the weightlessness of being underneath the water. And it was cool because the scuba instructor had this thing that it was a pen that had a bead that ran from one side of the pen to the other. And because you can't yell underwater or clap or do anything underwater, he said that when I'm trying to get your attention, I'm going to snap this pen back and forth. And we were all able in this giant pool, massive, massive Olympic pool, we're able to hear the bead and him calling us from another direction. And just being able to swim, underneath the water, all these little cool things. Like if your mask started getting into your bubbles, I just tilt your hair back and exhale, and the bubbles from your would clear out the water in your mask and all this cool stuff. I don't know. I like that idea, and I love Finding Nemo, and I love coral and all these beautiful little fish underneath the water that are not sharks.
That's nice.
Scuba diving.
Skydiving.
It's just, if I was just free falling.
Yeah. Don't you think that would be like such a rush? I would get so bored.
I understand why it would be a rush,
Mm.
but it doesn't excite me in the slightest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you hear about that lady who was like 101 years old? She went skydiving, and she died the next week.
The next week,
Maybe days.
you ever hear about that one skydiver that was diving
No.
in tandem? I tell you that story.
No.
Diving in tandem, and the
The guy
tandem
passed
instructor
out. Yeah.
died
Oh, he had a
on
heart
his
attack.
back.
Yeah.
The instructor
Mid fall. Like
died.
but he didn't die because
What
he hit
happens?
the
What
ground.
happens if it was no died in the air? You not know, like you jump out of the plane, and then you think the guy's behind you, just like totally gonna to have you.
Yeah.
He was like, I got you. Don't worry about this. We're gonna be okay. It's your first time jumping out of the plane. You're like, oh my god, what a rush! And this whole time free falling, you have somebody's dead body attached to the back of you.
You know what though? I would be like, you mother, die before me,
Right.
midair.
And then what
if you're
ended up
not gonna
happening
pull
is the other
Did he, like-
instructor had to go over there and pull the chutes
How
because
insane is
because
that,
your
though?
altimeter was just like, yeah, he's not doing
like-
what he's supposed to.
How impressive is it if you got the guy who could direct himself mid free fall
Mm,
to like the dead guy? That's the guy you hope for.
right. Or you just don't go skydiving.
Yeah, that's how I've been playing the game lately.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, thank you
Okay.
very much for listening, tuning in.
If you made it this far,
We really
we owe you a
appreciate
bottle of wine or dinner.
That's right. If you made it this far, thank you so much. We are going to have guests in the future, talk about a lot of stuff. We can't wait for you to hear the upcoming episodes. So please subscribe. I think that's the thing. Please
Yeah.
subscribe. Please
Yeah.
follow.
Like,
Try to
share.
find us. Like, share.
Tell your friends.
Tell your friends.
Mm.
Tell your friends, because this is going to be a really fun journey and ongoing project. So cool.
Awesome.
Good job.
You too.
Take care, everyone.
Okay, bye.
Bye.